Hi everyone, the Monday health tip this week is going to be pretty brief. Just recently they've actually come up with a screening test. We like to do screening tests, trying to look for functions, see if we can catch things earlier. And so some researchers have actually came up with what they call an early screening test for potential dementia. So it's a pretty simple test, but it's a challenge. It may be challenging, so it's actually pretty interesting. So it's quite simple. So this is a test you can do. Anybody can do this at home. You can kind of check this out, and it's kind of an early indicator that you may want to start looking into helping your brain a little bit more if you get a positive result, meaning you can't do the test very well. So the test is pretty simple. You're actually just going to be standing on one foot. You're going to bring the other knee up in front of you like this, and you should be able to hold this position for 20 seconds with your eyes open. So they say if you can't do this, you're falling and you're kind of losing your balance and whatever else. That's an early indicator of potential dementia or problems, mental function, Alzheimer's, and that kind of thing. So we know as chiropractors, a large majority of the information going to your brain is actually coming from movement of the joints in your body. So they say upwards of 90% of the activity in your brain is just there for your brain to be aware of yourself in space. We call that proprioception. So like I know I'm raising two fingers even if I didn't see it, because every time I move those joints there's a little stimulation that comes out to my brain. Now the cerebellum, which is at the back part of the brain, these two little dense areas, it's really highly stimulated by movement of the spinal bones. And the cerebellum has a big influence on stimulating your brain in general. So it's very important that all the bones in your back are moving properly, because upwards of 90% of the stimulation going to your brain comes from movement of the spinal bones. 10% might be coming from your arms and your legs, but it's very important that all the bones in your back are moving freely. So that's why having regular chiropractic care throughout your life to make sure that all the bones in your back are moving properly and you don't have what we call subluxations or areas that are stuck or not moving properly, they won't have a negative influence on the health of your brain. So if you're doing this test already and you're already falling over, that's a really big indicator that you really need to get your spine worked on properly as well, because that's a big influence on the health of your brain. There's other factors too, obviously. Making sure you're doing crossword puzzles and challenging your brain, and make sure you get your coconut oil and all that kind of stuff, medium chain triglycerides and good healthy diet and all that stuff that's important, your omega-3 fatty acids and all those kind of things. All that's important stuff that you need to be doing, but the one thing that everyone will be missing is this fact that the spinal bones need to be moving properly to keep your brain healthy as well. That's one of the biggest things that kind of lays the groundwork for everything else. So just think of your brain sort of like an electrical chemical factory, and it needs to be stimulated like you remember the old car that you had to crank up? Well, you got to crank up the movement of your spine and make sure that they're all moving properly to keep that brain healthy. So wherever you are in the world, make sure you're getting to your chiropractor to get your spine properly worked on. It's very important. So one other thing too, there's a lot of what we call early warning signs, and with Parkinson's and things like that, as another thing to kind of really be aware of, and it's a pretty subtle thing, but if your food starts to taste less, let's say you get less flavor out of your food, that might mean that you're losing your sense of smell. And losing your sense of smell is also one of those early things that starts to happen when people start to get into what we call cognitive decline or early Parkinson's and those kind of things. So also be aware of that. Either way, getting your spine checked by a chiropractor regularly is a very important health measure, so make sure you're doing that. Check us out at drmarcodc.com, and also please share this video with anyone you love, because people need to know about this test. Okay? We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.